Hey friends, I hope you all had a lovely Christmas. I wanted to share with you guys something that God has put in my heart this week, and it is how God is so naturally supernatural, or how he works through the natural to perform supernatural things. And this whole, I guess, talk is happening now because of something that happened this week, and I'm just going to briefly share about that. So I have been praying about my job situation. For those who don't know, I have been on maternity leave for about 10 months now. Yeah, so Olivia's 10 months, so about 10 months. And I had to let my job know what I was going to do, whether I was going back or not, by the 8th of December. So there was a lot of prayer that went into that, because it just made sense to go back to work. It really made sense to go back to work, financially speaking. But I felt really deep in my heart that God was saying that I shouldn't go back, and that he had something else in mind for me. It was something that I wanted to make sure that I was really hearing from God, and it wasn't just something that I wanted. Yeah, just felt that that was what God desired from my life, and it was the right thing to do. So I wrote them an email and I said basically that I wasn't coming back to work. Doing that in itself was already mental, because of the situation where me and my husband were both at in our careers, and just, financially, now with a baby. So then I think it was either this week or last week, God just provided for us. God was just really generous with us. And the way that it happened, it could have seemed very natural and normal, I think, for everyone else. But just the sum, the amount that we received, and just the way that it happened, and at the time that it happened, we just knew that it was God. So even though it was through what it may seem a natural means, or like a natural way, or like a normal way that things happen, it was just so supernatural, the way that God provided. It was at the right time. Yeah, it was just crazy, guys. So what I wanted to say is this: just because you may be able to explain something doesn't mean it's not God. I think there are a lot of things in our lives that God has put in place, and that God is moving and doing, but sometimes we miss it because we just think, well, but that's just supposed to happen, or we just see it in the natural and we think it's something awesome, but we don't necessarily believe that it's God. So in Psalm 19:1 it says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands." And then in John 1:3 it says, "Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made." Romans 1:20, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities," so the things that we don't see, "his eternal power and his divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse." So people have no excuse to say, "Oh, I don't believe in God," because everything around us talks about who he is and shows his character and his divine nature. So the things that are invisible qualities, they are being understood from what has been made. So basically, from the natural, you can see God's supernatural being, his divine nature. Sometimes we think that something can only be accredited to God when there is no explanation, like healings and supernatural things that happen, and we're like, whoa, yeah, that must be God. But we have to be reminded that he created the natural. He created all the elements. He created men. He created everything that we see. Even intelligence and wisdom that we have is from him. He is literally in everything. And I want to open a parenthesis here. Parenthesis, brackets. I just want to open something here. And I want to say that... What was I going to say? It's what my friend said to me It's like, Barbara, don't be so afraid of making decisions. Don't be so afraid of doing things, because I believe that God is directing your steps. In Proverbs it says that a man will make plans in his heart, but it is the Lord that will direct his steps. So maybe, just maybe, that prompting that you have, that desire that you have to start something, or desire that you have to do something, that is God directing you. And I know that our hearts can be deceitful, but that's why we have, if we think so much that our hearts and that we are so in control of our lives, then maybe that means that we haven't actually given it to God. But if we have given it to God, we have to trust that He is the one directing our steps. And if we desire to do what He desires, then we have to believe that He is guiding us. So instead of being so, I guess, stuck in this place of, I don't know what to do, just trust the Lord, trust God, and trust that He will use natural things to guide you into a supernatural path. Supernatural is just the natural made super natural. Everything that is natural, everything that has been naturally made, because it has got God's touch, it is made supernatural. I need to think of another word, because I feel like I've already said supernatural like 1,000 times. But I hope you get what I'm saying. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the recipe. I hope you enjoy this little chat that we've had. And yeah, I hope you have an amazing New Year's, and it's full of blessings, full of God's presence above everything else. Seek first the kingdom, and everything else will be added to you. So that in this next year we would take time and prioritize seeking God above everything else. And that's my prayer for you, and that's my prayer for me as well for this next year. Love you guys, and